Well, the lunch break will be powered by DBX Foundation Limited, and we will now begin the luncheon session. But before we serve your lunch, DBX Foundation Limited will deliver its presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DBX with a big round of applause to the stage.
Well, it's really a great pleasure to be here, and especially have the honor to sponsor our lunch session. And I'd like one question. Are you hungry now? I believe everybody's hungry, but Steve Jobs once said, stay hungry. Yeah, that's what I tell every of my DBX team members. Tell them that actually stay hungry is very important. And actually, all of my members said that if they listen to Tomi to speech for 20 minutes, they no longer feel hungry. I hope so. OK, let's begin with our interesting topic about the new approach to the parity of efficiency and equity. And I'm the founder of our foundation, DBX Foundation. OK, so this topic is actually about mechanism of consensus. Everybody is talking about mechanism of consensus. We all know POW, right? Proof of work, which has been working for nearly a decade for the blockchain of Bitcoin. That is the origin of the Bitcoin, origin of the blockchains. So the importance is about there is a big argument on the topic on the conflicts of parity, of efficiency and equity. That's what we are going to deal with. So we can see that trust is what blockchain offers, right? And everybody knows that even the Economist magazine, they know that the blockchain is actually a trust machine. Yes, indeed. Actually, the mechanism of consensus named POW has been published on the journal in 1998, has been a very good consensus mode for bringing trust. Because we know that nearly a decade, the Bitcoin blockchain hasn't been hacked, actually, indeed, because nobody lost countless Bitcoins via the Bitcoin blockchain. So we say that POW is really a sound system. And it really makes the trust to disperse. But what we encounter is the problem of efficiency. Because we all know there is a triangle of impossibility that named the paradox of decentralization, high efficiency, and safety. So can we really break the impossible triangle? That has been a very popular question that has been discussed in our blockchain industry. So can we really break it, or at least have some balance on it? OK, so everybody is talking about the problems of Ethereum. And we really have strong respect of Vitalik. And he really made a very strong network that has been extremely popular and with the largest developer community in the world. Yeah, we really admire it. But we should also see the great problems that the POW mechanism has encountered. We see that the simple word is too expensive, too much cost. We all know that there has been a new exchange that has caused a lot of traffic jams of the Ethereum network because it has a mechanism of making everybody charging in the Ethereum network, charging their own coin. So the problem of traffic jam has brought to us that we must break the efficiency problem in order to actually apply blockchain in the real world. That's our task. So we all know that Ethereum has too expensive gas, and the confirmation is very slow, especially during the traffic jam recently. And the value system has actually become a pure token system. This has been a very important issue because we all know that Ethereum has the largest developer community in the world, in the blockchain world at least. But we see that there is no actual real-world practical application in the Ethereum developer community because all we care about is pure token. We all sell token, and we all exchange token, and we all issue token via the ERC20 network. But the problem is that we only see that the exchanges, they are centralized, right? So we will often ignore the problems of efficiency of the ERC20 network because we all charge our ERC20 issued tokens into the centralized exchange. So we see that the centralized exchange is very high efficiency. So most of the people will ignore the problem of actual application efficiency of a network. That's what we are working on. That's what we DBX are working on. Okay, everybody could see our website, DBX.1, on your table. So we will also talk about, okay, another joke about American president. Actually, there has been too many Trumps. Yeah, we all hate Trumps, right? So in DPoS mechanism, this consensus mechanism is very great, very much a great approach to a new efficient world of actual world application of blockchain. But the problem is it's really too centralized. Everybody know about the Trump issues. You know, there has been a lot of Trumps in the DPoS-based network, especially that we see the US. But what we'd like to talk about is not only the problem of centralization, it's just one of the problems, and it's the least important problem. But the most important problem is about security. Because we all know US has security problems. It has been actually kind of attacked, code mark attacked by the Vulkan team of the 360 team of China before it announced to launch its main network. And only after shorter than a week, it has been another DOS attack of the US network, and the whole network collapsed for several minutes. So that's a problem of DPoS because it is a network that has been in a certain system of election, of certain election that you can predict. Predictability is a big enemy to the security of a blockchain network because no matter what thing is predictable, it is attackable, it is hackable. So that's our new approach of DDPoS. That is a new approach. It's actually kind of a joke. It's not to have it all, but it is to have a parity. It is to try to balance from the decentralization and the efficiency problem. So DDPoS is actually for a database delegated proof of stake. It's actually a consensus mechanism of our DBXchain. That's what you can see on your dinner table. So with this mechanism, we can do both high efficiency and really, really considered decentralization. Okay, so how can we do that? How can we try to break the impossible triangle? Okay, it's named Flowing Block Producer. Actually, there is no super nodes, no actual super nodes in the DBX chain. There is actually real-time floating super role. It's just a role to make the block and to manage the whole system. Actually, Flowing Block Producer has been an imagination of many communities that has trying to break the problem of centralization of DPoS. But the realization, the coding of Flowing Block Producer has been a huge problem. It's really, really not easy to actually code a Flowing Block Producer system. So actually, DBXchain has been doing works about 1.5 years ago. That is in November 2016. That's when we began the first line of code of our project. So actually, it has been 1.5 years that we've been coding with the flowing block producer modules. It's really hard to code. It's really a hard project. But we have done it. I think we have basically done it at least. We have published our code in GitHub in early May. So everybody can check our code maybe via our website because it's on your dinner table at DBX.1 and see our GitHub link. Everybody could consider our code and our realization of flowing block producers. Another element is time-weighted contribution. So you just ignore the math. I think everybody hates the math. OK, I will introduce to you in a very simple way to understand time-weighted contribution. Because in the DPoS, in the original DPoS mechanism, the biggest problem is about bribery. We Chinese guy always want to do it because maybe we can build a lot of new nodes with 30 tickets, with 30 votes, with a whole new node. With a node with no contribution to the network at all. It's just a new node. It has no contribution, but it has the power equals to every node that has a lot of contribution. That's why we set up the time-weighted contribution mechanism to break it. OK, that is not only a mathematical module. That is a new design that could prevent bribery, mostly. Because we know in the blockchain world, we always design things in economy models. That is to higher the cost of bribery, to higher the cost of cheating, of rigging. So when you have done really a lot of contribution to the network, really a lot of contribution that can be proved by the blockchain, that has been proved by everybody, I think it is worth to give your bribe to the time-weighted contribution node with a lot of money, with a huge amount of money. That is the same way that we want to break the Bitcoin blockchain. When we want to break the Bitcoin blockchain, you only have the whole world of money. I remember there is a movie named The Whole World of Money. If you have the whole world of money, of course, you can rig any system. But it's an extremely high economic cost. That's what we purpose in our design of time-weighted contribution. And I also have another point about flowing block producers, because I have a very simple way to let you understand what is the problem of security of the election system and what is the major good of flowing block producers. If we imagine there is a patrol, and if you want to break into a military base with a regular patrol, that is very easy, right? Because you know the regularity. You know they patrol each, for example, 5 minutes. But if the patrol is smart, they patrol randomly, like per 10 seconds, and afterwards per 1 minute, and afterwards they use drones. Oh, this military base is very secure. It's really hard to break because it's unpredictable. That's what we think that unpredictability is the greatest thing and the greatest structure for a secure system. OK, so with DBXchain, with the DDPoS mechanism, we can balance actually the efficiency problem and the decentralized problem. Actually, we are now also building our ecosystem. That is why we want to build a new world with blockchain data infrastructure. Our definition of DBX with the full name Database X is the new infrastructure of the blockchain world. We all know that in the blockchain world, we should have the new relationship with the data supplier and the data seller. We all know that in the old world, in the centralized time, data seller and the data owner, they are not the same people, and they are actually hate each other. They hate each other a lot, because why do you sell my data illegally without my consent? That's what Facebook do, because Zuckerberg has apologized to the public. But in the new relationship in the blockchain world, we should say that everybody who owns data is actually the seller and the reseller of your own data. And each time your data has been producing revenues, you should receive part of them. That is what the spirit of blockchain defines. That is the spirit of code is law. So how do we do it? How do we do a new ecosystem with the DBX blockchain? That's our smart contract. Oh, OK, I think I'll roll back. I should have more description about our contract mechanism, because each contract of our DBX smart data contract is specified with certain kind of data, certain item of data, and certain kind of scenario, certain kind of receiver of your data, certain kind of the profiteer of your data. For example, if you like to have a credit card, there is a lot of promotion project of credit cards. Every bank, they are selling their credit card so that you can get smart loans and small loans. But in the old time, in the archaic way, so we all use telephone. We use call center. And we call anonymous people with very low efficiency and legal problems, because all the phone number, mostly, at least in China, your phone number is approached illegally because you didn't approve to provide your phone number. But in the DBX world, in our blockchain data structure world, we should use a new way, a whole new way to use your data. For example, if you have a picture of your ticket, of your invoice, of a certain canteen, for example, you are obligated to certify certain people, for example, Bank of China, to use your certain item of data, for example, this invoice. That is one-to-one, a certain item of data to a certain item of scenario. So that's what we can really define it in the blockchain world, in the code-based world, because we can actually program it, we can actually produce the if-else sentences, so that we can build a real smart contract with your certain item of data providing to certain kind of scenario, certain kind of receiver. So that's what we do. So in the new world, we will build a new relationship between the data supplier and the data receiver, so that we are really motivated to sell our data because it's approved, it's with consent. And every time your data produce a revenue, you can actually receive your tokens via our DBX smart contract. And in the final stage, okay, I know everybody is hungry, so it's about to be an end. And we'd like to introduce our data game app, because we have 300 kilo users in 30 days, actual telephone registered users, and our DAU is now over 40K, just a month and 1.5 months. So how do we do it? Because we have produced, as we said, as I described, we have built a whole new relationship between the data supplier and the data receiver and the data users. Because each piece of data, each time your data has been producing revenues, you will get part of them. For sure, ensured by our smart contract, because it is specified for a certain item of data, very specified, and for a certain kind of scenario, very specified. So I think I've described about our contract, because in our contract system, there can be a lot of developers providing their talent, intelligence, their talent to build the new tracking points. Because in each of our data contract, we need at least one DF, one node to do data tracking. For example, for the picture, for the photos you uploaded, there can be or there will be at least one data checking point that is required. And if you are the developer, you'd like to develop the data checking point, data checking code, you will produce a lot of revenues because each of the contract, you can share a percentage if you are building the data checking programs. Okay, with sincere gratitude of listening to my speech, I hope you stay hungry and not staying hungry after having food. Thank you. Okay, you can contact me because we are hiring developers. We are building worldwide developers. And we'd like to welcome a lot of developers all over the world to join our DBX Foundation community, to join our developer community worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you very